Jack Butella with Jill DeWitt. Let us know you can hear us.
Hi, everyone. I have like a minute till. We're like on it, man.
Thank you, Richard Castle. Jill's having some technical difficulties. We're going to move forward with the show anyway.
Go right ahead. I can't. Go right ahead, Jack. I will catch up here.
Okay,
Give me just a second.
No problem. So Tim asks, can you talk about hiring actual boots on the ground to physically inspect the property? We both live in different cities in Texas, and we're buying a lot of rural land in Oklahoma. We've hit some home runs, but also hit some base hits too, but we've never struck out outstanding. So I'm going to ask you guys to, just for fun, in the Q&A here at the bottom, please tell us about some of the properties that you bought and sold, just basic economics. And I'm going to continue to reading the question, and I'll answer it. Here are some of the common problems. Oh, you can't see this. I'm answering it live. Here, now everyone can see it. Here are some of the common problems we've had buying property without physical inspection access. Ding, ding. What we thought was a county road on Google Earth turned out to be an abandoned railroad bed. Yikes. Number 2, gates. Lots of natural gas and oil drilling in rural Oklahoma. A piece of choice land with good rural access is actually located behind a locked drilling company gate. Been there, done that. Number 3, topography. Guy says he can't buy the land because it's in one big ravine. So I've looked on Google Earth and can't identify anything that looks like it might be a ravine. The elevation changes can be tricky on Google Earth. And then we have lots of valuable tools, but no real proof of actual, lying eyes on the property. So is it worth the time and money to hire someone from Craigslist to essentially go look at the property? If you guys have done well financially already, and you're obviously moving out of second gear, I would highly recommend that you get somebody. In the end, what you need is you can smoke a lot of this out by hiring a photographer for $50 or so on Craigslist. You get them to go take a look at the property, shoot pictures, north, south, east, west pictures, maybe some video. And if you're really into it, if it's a bigger piece of property, hire a drone person. So as far as, addressing a ravine issue, there's settings in Google Earth, specifically Google Earth Pro, which is free. It's been free for a couple of years, that allows you to set topography. And that should smoke out a lot of this. I know that there are some rural counties that aren't covered as well. So that's very useful. And Parcel Fact is driven by a Google Earth API, and we've had it's worked out really well that way. So there's that. I've been behind the locked gates, and that's tough. I really think it'd be for these larger, for larger value deals. I'm not talking about 40 acres for $4,000. We always have somebody go take a look at it, always. In fact, if it's in California, Jill and I usually do it ourselves, because we then go to the county building and get to know everybody and do the whole thing. These are deals that we're making $100,000 on, though. So, even for 10 or 20 or 30, I think it's well worth it to hire somebody to make sure. Mm-hmm. I hope that answers the question. Here's Tim's at the bottom here. Here's some of the deals with a lot of information. I'm going to show it on the screen. Bought for, I'm just going to read down. Bought for $0, sold for $1,000. Bought for $500, sold for $5,000. Bought for $800, sold for $4,500. Bought for $15, sold for $5,000. You guys are definitely.
Jesus, they're great numbers.
Moving out of. Welcome, Jill.
Am I okay now? Yeah. All right.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Good.
Can everybody else hear Jill?
Hope so.
Smoking numbers. So you guys are ready to move on to the $10,000 or more. Properties for sure. Mm-hmm. And then start implementing the more sophisticated let's go see it tools. If you get stuck in Craigslist, which almost never happens, but if you do, there's a company out there called We Go Look, and it's really set up actually to help people about like who are buying a car on the internet or something like that. Go ahead, Joe.
There's a really nice gentleman, and I can't think of his name right now, but he emailed me specifically, and he is being used by several people in our group, and he's expanding his operation. And so I know that I'm sure there's chats about this right now in landinvestors.com, and there's a guy that's all over the Southwest, so it's not like really fast, it sounds like, but he schedules certain places to go drive around and do drones and all that good stuff different weeks. So it is not expensive. It's awesome.
And Luke makes a good point in the chat box. He says he uses people who have recently purchased property in the area, to ask a lot of questions because they're fresh out of the thing and they have a lot of good stuff to say. That makes a lot of sense.
It's awesome. Cool.
Next question. To go out, photographers. So Tim says, he goes on to say, it's a continuation of the next question. Yeah, we covered it.
Cool. Sorry about that. Where are we? Hi, Jeannie. Oh, let me get back. I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up here. Hi, Jack and Jill. Question. If a property is on a trust and there's only one trustee, what documentation do I need? A deed under trustee name, is that sufficient?
Go ahead, Joe.
Perhaps in a trust and there's only one trustee, what documentation do I need? A deed under trustee name, is that sufficient? Typically, yes. Okay. So the property is in a trust, yes. So let's just say the property is in the name of the Smith Family Trust of 1988. So what do I need? I need the Smith Family Trust of 1988.
You need the actual document.
First of all, and then named within the Smith Family Trust of 1988. And I'm kind of a person that I want the whole document too. I don't want just the pages, Jack. And I don't know if you feel that way, but I want the whole document just to have in my back pocket should I ever need it, kind of thing. So, and then in the document, it will say who is the beneficiary or who's the person in charge of, X, whatever item, if you will, or in property and all that good stuff. Anyway, and then what you will do, and I usually check with the family because let's just say somebody passed on, right? And now it's in the trust and this person's conveying the property. There's usually we're attorneys involved setting this all up. And I kind of ask them, how is the attorney having you write your name? And it's traditionally, Mark Smith as trustee for the Smith Family Trust of 1988. And I copy that verbiage, whatever they were using that their attorney recommended. And then that's what you need to do.
Well said.
Thank you. So this stuff's not that difficult. Don't get hung up on it. And if you have any questions, you can even ask the recorder to say, I've got this document and this document,
Look at it like this. This is what helped me really when I was really just starting. A trust is an entity, just like a human being or an LLC, that is legally allowed to own property. So think of a trust just like a company, or think of it just like John Smith. Well, let's check to see if John Smith really owns this company. Let's check to see if the trust really owns the property. Let's check to see if the company really owns it. And so what do you need? You need a document. Should the trust be read on the deed there? Yeah, because just like you should be read on the deed if you're going to buy the property as an individual. So that's what really helps me. Let's see. Jill, am I going to do this today?
I can't read them all. I'm sorry. I think we're kind of caught up. Richard Cass, I can't see that one. Richard asks, any tips on finding and negotiating with local title companies on rates?
Yes.
Jack's a pro.
Yeah. So go to a website called sourceoftitle.com. And they're kind of like a loosely organized association of rogue title agents. They're the mom and pops in these small towns they're not First American Title. They're not Pioneer or Lawyers Title. And so very often the owners are working in there every day, unlike these large companies. And so they have a tremendous amount of negotiation power, especially if they know that you're buying a bunch of properties. They're going to cut you a smoking deal. And Source of Title is there. You can search by state, or you can email the guy that runs the site, and he'll really help you.
Are you going to share a little bit about what we're working on right now related to that? Because I'm kind of wondering.
I think this is a good time to do that.
Specifically, whatever you're looking for, Richard, we might be able to help in a couple weeks.
Well, it's not. It won't be 2 weeks, but it'll be soon.
Yeah.
Really, really soon.
Yeah. Weeks, not years.
Jill and
not
I,
months.
Jill and I have a proposal on our desk, which is entirely and completely acceptable to both of us from an economic standpoint and a usability standpoint, to be a licensed provider for First American Title and all their back-end data, both from a escrow title report standpoint and to use their company called DataTree, which is the offshoot of RealQuest that they started when they split off. So RealQuest used to be a division of First American Title, and they split, and First American immediately pursued creating their own company, which is now DataTree. And boy, first of all, I don't want to get this is. Do you want to? I don't want to steal your thunder.
No. That's keep on going. Whatever you want to share.
DataTree. First of all, there's a tremendous amount of differences, and I'm not knocking RealQuest. We're still very loyal to them, but it has 100% coverage. So, RealQuest it's missing probably, I don't know, still at 98 or 99% coverage in the country, but it's still missing probably 150 to 200 counties. Well, these guys have managed to get that data, which is amazing. They also have, for 58 or 60% of the properties in the country, the title plants are done and they're accessible and you can just buy them on there. So that's going to be the back end of for us to help you with Escrow Perfect, where we'll actually close your deal and we'll provide you the review of a title plant. So, and this is that piece of this, Jill, is weeks away. Like you said, 2 or 3 weeks away. So, and there's a bunch of mapping functions, and the interface is a little more sophisticated. So, I researched this pretty heavily. We are the only entity that I know of that are licensed providers for Title Pro, RealQuest, CoreLogic,
soon to be the First American Title, which is so interesting. The whole CoreLogic First American Title relationship is really weird, that they're separate and doing different things now. So we'll just go after it all.
Yeah. Why not?
Exactly.
When is more information worse?
I know.
More information is always better.
I got to share. I want to share with this group too, because this group is special. Because Jack and I were just scratching our heads the other day, like, who the heck are we? You know what I mean?
Well, who are we?
I know. Well, no, just the fact that I can't believe that we reach out to them and they pick up the phone. You know what I mean? Oh, well, we'll talk to them. Like, how do I? You know what I'm trying to say. And or they're reaching out to us. Hey guys, we know what you're up to. Please include us. Like, oh, okay. That's great.
So there's a ton of stuff coming. The website is done we're just about ready to launch offers to owners where you no longer have to do your own mail merge / mailer. We do it for you every step of the way. So that's like, I don't know, I think we're going to launch it next week or the
week after.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see if our
land crowdfund, the website is done. We're just putting the editing on it. We're going to release a lot of stuff next month.
Coming up in this. Yeah.
We're also Land Tank, Shark Tank for Land is the back end of it's completely done. We just have to finish it front end.
So that ties into Richard's thing. We should do that at the end. Would you buy this deal? Yeah,
Richard. So if you want to, either in the chat box or however you want to send me what deals you would like me to review for you, I'd be happy to slap them up on the screen and give you my 2 cents.
Cool.
We'll bring in Luke for that at the end too.
Cool. That sounds good. Kyria asks, I'm trying to purchase some land in Wyoming. The seller is in Raton, New Mexico, and I can't find a mobile notary in that area. I have 1, 2, 3 notary and superior notary services. Can anyone help? Kyria, is there any chance that you could, if you're just establishing a relationship with this person, is there any chance you could send them the deed, have them go to their bank or the AAA office in their town, because let's be honest, it's that small of a thing, and get it notarized themselves, send it back to you, and then you pay them.
Kyria,
I wouldn't have trouble with that.
And her husband called me, did a deal review with me 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. And she's like, I don't know, man. We're going to send a bunch of letters to Wyoming. I don't know if it's going to work.
Really? Seriously?
I'm glad it worked.
I guess it worked. That's so cool.
You should also consider, there's everybody in the courthouse and that is a notary. So they might be able to do that. If it's closer to the county seat, I'm sure somebody will notarize the doc there.
Because that's not crazy when you're really talking to the seller and you're saying, look, I'd send a notary to your house, but I can't find one,
In every single auto dealership on this planet, especially used car dealerships, every single person's a notary because they have to notarize car titles all day long.
Oh, good question. All right. Merritt asks, I've decided to pass on 3 deals in Oregon due to lack of legal access, totally landlocked, even without even illegal dirt or roads or trails, etc. As I have 7 other deals locked up with agreements that do have access and easements, I'm curious when and if more experienced members and Jack and Jill go for no access properties on the cheap and have much success selling them in a timely manner. I got something to say about this right now.
Go ahead.
So I just said, it was so funny there. We had a member the other day who the seller was trying to track him down in land pin, and as it turned out, it wasn't the member, it was the buyer. It was the buyer not really with it, and so somehow he tracked us down. Of course, got our number and was calling us. And anyway, so I got the 2 together, and I said, hey, by the way, let me know how it goes. So he replied to me saying, hey, I got with the seller or the buyer. It turns out I've talked to him twice. He didn't remember anyway. And he said, the funny thing was the property he was inquiring about was too close to a road, too much access, not what he wanted. Seriously. He really wanted 40 acres, the same county, but he wanted to be out there, and access is not an issue. So I just thought that was so funny. I'm like, I wrote our member back. I'm like, see, this is the stuff you can't make up. I mean, there really are buyers out there. Everybody says, who's going to want that? But man, there's a buyer for everything.
That's great.
So, I mean, this ties into Merritt's stuff. If it's a really good deal, I might roll it into my inventory. I got 7 other over here that you like, and this is smoking because you never know.
I think, Barrett, we had a call about this last week about these properties. The first thing that do we buy, to answer your question, do we buy no access property? And the answer is no, not any longer. We just we're past it, but that doesn't mean you have to be. First thing I would do is take a picture, do a little video. I think we talked about this on the call. And I'd send it to the seller and say, I know you sent you a letter for $10,000 for these properties each, but I had no idea until we looked them up that there is no access whatsoever. So I'm not as interested for $10,000 as I thought I would be. And by the way, neither is anybody else. They're going to go through the same thing. So if you want to just get rid of them for $1,000 or something, that's fine, because I'm really only going to be able to sell this for slightly more if I can sell it at all. So all legal stuff aside, lack of access properties are sellable and marketable.
Exactly.
Just like Jill said. So yeah, man.
Yep. Kyria made a note about the first earlier question, saying that actually the Wyoming people, a lot of them were insulted, but the first guy was our situation. So there you go.
Great.
It only takes 1 deal, and that pays for the whole mailer usually.
And a lot more.
Exactly.
Sometimes it pays for college for your kids.
That's true. Oh, yeah, for some people. Oh, my goodness. Luke?
We have a guy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name his name.
Okay.
Who's helped us a lot. And he's a member. He's turned us on to a bunch of people pretty high up in some credit card companies to get chill pay done. He just cleared $500,000 on his very first deal. And I told him, man, you got to be careful. But it's like winning in the casino the first time you go.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen every time.
Exactly. That's so true. Hey, here's a Luke question. Luke asks, the county sent a letter saying that the manufactured home on the land needs to be transferred within 45 days. I bought the land and not the home. What home? Now what? Elko County, Nevada. I think there's a squatter on the land I bought. You ever been requested to transfer the home's title too?
No. I have never.
I've never even heard of that. I want to write him back and say, well, you can have it. Go get it.
That's a good point, Luke. I wonder what you really need to do.
I've never heard of that.
That's really strange if it's not attached to the property. It's like if you buy a property and you buy a house and it's got a car in the garage, do they force you to transfer it? That's strange.
Right.
Because illegally, it's the same thing. It's personal property, I think.
Exactly. That's really fun.
I wish I had an answer for that.
Yeah,
I don't.
That's interesting. Brian asked, on Parcel Fact, the GPS coordinates provided are very helpful, but 2 questions. where are these coordinates generated from? And is there a way to determine the coordinate refers to which part of the property without plotting it out on Google Earth?
Where are the coordinates generated from? They're generated from a database that CoreLogic has spent a ridiculous amount of money putting together.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the source. So imagine a massive database of 190 million properties or whatever there are in the country.
Mm-hmm. And then,
is there a way to determine which coordinate coordinate refers to which part of the property without plotting it out on Google Earth? Meaning, so you're staring at it. Here, let's just put it on the screen. So you're staring at parcel fact like this. Click on it. You wait a little bit too long for it to pop up. And so this obviously, so see my hovering? I'm hovering here and look on the upper right. So can you see this on your computer?
Yes.
See this up here? Right under the large APN,
mm-hmm.
You can see that corner point is 37.64 and minus 104.853.
Mm.
Then you can go over here and see that it's the bottom the southeastern quarter. You can also copy the whole polygon data. The center point's on the top, so you can actually go to copy it and go to Google Earth and get the center point. But you don't need to do this. It's all actually right in parcel fact. So that's sort of the center point. And if I toggle back, you can see the property. Whoops. Right here. Which is just it's connected to. So this is the northeast corner, but you can get all of the corner point polygon coordinates right here. I hope that answers the question.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. All right. Baron, Tim asks, we get a lot of returned offers, and phone calls out of our Pat Live. Yay. But upon investigation, we decided not to buy. But now we have folks calling back in every day. I feel bad.
Why?
I know this one. Do you spend a lot of time getting on the phones responding to people that you're passing on the deals?
Aaron, please let us know.
Hashtag time consuming. I have stuff to say about this.
Well, please let us know why. I mean, something obviously about the whole area just made you decide not to buy. Maybe you overpriced the mailer. If you can type it in and let us know, that'd be great.
That totally happens. I've had some that they're like kind of like, well, how much would you buy it for? Can I give it to you? I'm like, oh no, kind of thing. It's really sweet, but no, thank you. We're not. I just nicely say that we're just not buying in that area. Yeah, there's some we just decided not to buy, but we're buying others.
That's his answer.
Yeah, I understand that.
I do too.
Yeah, it's just. You know what? What an awful problem to have.
So
Too many deals.
If you get a bunch of property that you think is a pretty good deal and you still want to do it, but you're focusing on other stuff, I'm going to offer a suggestion because I'm helping somebody else do this. Somebody that joined our group is extremely busy and extremely successful in another company that he owns, but he wants to do this and he's learning. I said, listen, you got all this money and you got all this business knowledge. Why don't you just be a lender? Why don't you just be a money guy? And you don't have to spend any time on this and make someone else who's new and young and really energetic and knowledgeable be your partner. So you fund them, and 50-50, you guys split the profit, and you approve every deal, which is really the premise of land crowdfund. So I think you guys are set up for that. I think if they're good deals, don't let them go to waste. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you know what? Okay. Well, let me go. There's more things down below here. Can I weigh in on this? Because I have experience in this. So some you just want to buy. In other words, I got this. Some you just want to buy and some you don't want to buy. You don't want them talking to people, bad-mouthing you. You know what? Make up that you ran out of money. I mean, you can make up something, and it's like, oh, it's gorgeous. I know. I love it. Boy, it sounds great. I'm out of acquisition funds. No one can get mad at you for that. Or if you really, really feel like you want to do something for them, you could throw it out to your community. kind of thing. And that's what the deal board is for. And you could put it up there for people. So there, and then, I mean, really the bottom line is, it's how can they get mad at you when you just, it's just, gosh, I know it's great. And I sent you an offer and I picked up the one next door. This one's a little bit different and it doesn't meet my criteria, but God, I wish you all the best, and if anything changes, you know what, maybe tell them you might circle back around. Say, hey, you know what, in a few months, I might be looking for more of these. Right now, this is all I want. But in a few months, I might be working for these and I'm going to hang on to your information. Thank you so much. That's not bad. No, I can't get mad at you for that. I could talk to my neighbor and say, he bought yours. I'm hoping he comes back and buys mine because I want to sell mine too.
Still a lot of talking and a lot of work.
Yeah.
You can do it quickly. What I would not do is let the deal sit there. I would assign it to somebody else in our group who can get it done, and you pay for it. So if it's worth doing.
Or you know what? Or just be honest. I didn't like your property. Thank you. And then if they're going to get mad, that's their problem.
But what I wouldn't do is keep it in the loop and keep it in the system and say you'll think about it, because it's just. I
kind of just meant to say that just to make them feel better.
Yeah,
that's really what I meant.
Right.
Seriously, I'm not gonna review this deal every single time I sit down to review deals. I'm not gonna look at it again. Right. So no. Mike asks, hi, I just sent my first mailer about a week ago. I accidentally mailed a company. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's good.
I tried taking them out of the data. Well, the company emailed me wanting to sell me their 3 other properties.
Yeah,
this is awesome. The properties are in a mountain community that does not have water or power. I thought it might be good for camping, but when I pulled the deed, there was a restriction that provides an individual easement access for construction purposes. It's from 20 years ago, so I thought it might be okay. Should I avoid this property? I only offered like $400.
No, I don't. I think, it probably does have a deed restriction for construction purposes. So if you're not planning on building an apartment building on it, I think that, no, I don't think there's, I think other people in the group might disagree. A deed restriction is just that. It's going to restrict how you use the property, and you can't lend against it, but it's not going to stop you from selling it for $4,000.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Or using it yourself.
Totally.
Or whatever the numbers end up being.
Yep. Tim Farron asks, we have deals from time to time where we think we see a dirt trail access, but are not 100% certain. We're moving some of those into our option packages now, where if it is a win-win, it's a win-win if the deal goes down. Love it. Good. However, I don't want to spend a ton of time on the phone with buyers arguing about access. Any thoughts?
No, I think that's a really viable solution. But I think this refers back to the second to last question. Don't keep a deal in purgatory, is my point. Either do the deal or don't do the deal. You can push it off for a month if you need to with acquisition funds, but there's lots of other people in this group. Do you need to make 300, 400, 500% on the deal, or is 200 enough? Mm-hmm. There's other people that could do the deal and do all the work, and you just put the money in, or vice versa. This theme keeps coming up, and that's what land crowdfund will solve.
Well, you know what here's what I hear too. I totally agree with you. What I also hear is we're having plenty of deal flow, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really what this is going on. You have so much deal flow. There's stuff you don't want to do and you don't have to do. You're not desperate. And there's more good stuff just around the corner. So this is awesome. So, I think some of this is just going to be having to, I don't want to say get firm, but maybe say, hey, because this is a business. This is not a charity, everybody. I'm not, so you know what I mean? Don't tell the buyers or the sellers that, but I'm just being honest. This is not a charity situation where I'm going to do, if you send your letter back, yay, you win $400 from me, because that's what I said. No. So, you
spin the wheel.
Woohoo!
Get a prize.
That's right. Oh, shucks. The third one that came in today. I'm sorry if you've been number 1 or 2, I would have bought it, but you were number 3 today, so no. No, but it's okay to pass, and we all need to practice saying thank you, but no thank you. As gorgeous as I'm sure it is, it doesn't meet my criteria. I'm out of acquisition funds. I just don't like it. Whatever, I have too much in that area. That's a good one too. I already have enough in that area. Dream it up, and then close the door and move on. So it's good. Luke is asking, can you give a bit? Can you help with this one? Like our guy right now, he wants to know about the example of how to make 500,000 on one deal. Ranches, big acreage, fancy areas. Yeah. Where does it happen? Can you explain without sharing too much?
Sure.
Okay.
Especially in California here, there's property that's close to the ocean that 10, 20, 50, 100 acres that is very, 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 very expensive. And people can afford it. It's that way on the East Coast too, like outside of New York, mm-hmm. and outside of big cities like in Canada, on the western coast of Canada, and in Washington State. Mm-hmm. It's usually just adjacent to really large cities. And a lot of times there's these subdivided somebody went in and subdivided with the intent of subdividing ranches. And then if you drive around there, they look like ranches with, I call them movie star ranches, where there's $700,000 structures that are put up. Like there's properties in Montana like this where movie stars go, in Idaho too. Mm-hmm. So they're subdivided specifically for this. And you have real good, clear comparison values, both for sale and completed sales. And so everybody loves to get a letter in the mail when their property is free and clear to buy it for $500,000 or $700,000. They love it. And so if you've done all your homework and the thing's worth 1.2, you know that you can sell it in 2 weeks for 1.2, or maybe you've even talked to other people around there that say, yeah, I'd love to buy a ranch for my daughter. Mm-hmm. This is a whole different world that these people live in. That $1.2 million for a piece of real estate is, they made $20 million last month. So it just doesn't matter to them whether it's 1.2 or 1.4. Well, it matters to people like us. Mm-hmm. So that's what you do. You target those areas, you send them a letter that's very similar to the one that we send, but a little bit different. And of course, you close these deals with a title agent that you trust and you're on a first name basis with. But the math goes like this. It's worth 1.2. You're going to sell it maybe to a group of realtors for 7 or 100 because they know they can get 1.2, and you're going to buy it for 5. Or maybe you buy it for 5, you mark it up to 6, and they sell it for 1.1 or 1 million. Mm-hmm. All right. Why wouldn't you just sell it yourself to the end user? Well, maybe you could. But that's just not what Jill and I choose to do. We choose to bring the investors back. We want them to make more money than us. Mm-hmm. Once in a while, we do sell it to somebody. If we have sold property like that to the end user, mm-hmm. and we like them. We are friends with them, so we cut them a great deal.
Right. There's no talking.
Yeah,
it's the right end user when it's no talking. They're familiar with the area and the property. We don't have to talk about it.
So to answer your question directly, look, and we can talk about doing deals like this together. Jill and I do not put our own money into these deals. We don't need to. Mm-hmm. We split it, but we need to make $100,000 net to us for the deal to work. Mm-hmm. We have both buyers and finance people lined up. They're lined up mm-hmm. to give us money to do this stuff. So. And we're moving into buying houses in California just like this, mm-hmm. where we don't make $100,000 on them, but we make pretty close. Mm-hmm. So it's not hard. I'm going to demonstrate why it's so easy in about 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's 3:30 already.
I know.
Should I do it now or should you want to go on?
Go ahead, do it now.
All right. So please take a look at your screen. In RealQuest, most of you, if you remember, you have access to this today. You log into RealQuest and you hit on the upper left-hand side under the logo, Map. This happens to be Golden Valley, just south of Las Vegas and Dolan Springs in Arizona. I always use Mojave County as an example. I don't know why. There's a ton of properties here. So the whole theme today is buyers, and it ties right into what Luke said. Who would buy a piece of property like that? Well, here, at least 50% of the time. I would argue for us it's a lot more. But statistically, if you look it up on the internet, 50% of the time that a piece of real estate sells, it sells to somebody within 1 mile that's related to the property somehow within a 1 mile radius of it, especially houses. The numbers are higher for houses. That person might not buy it, but they'll tell their friends who live in a different state or their relatives. So how do you find a list of buyers in a 1 mile radius of a property that you're thinking about buying or that you have purchased. Well, you do it like this. And see in the find properties red area, see the numbers moving? This is 4 miles out, 3 miles, 2 miles, 1 mile, 1.1 miles. Click. Find the properties. Code, beach Wi-Fi, rating.
True.
Beach Wi-Fi.
There we go.
All the records. So within a 1 mile area of that property, there's 800 properties, 807 properties in ownership records.
Yep.
And then assessor database. View by records. I just hit beach Wi-Fi. Imagine if you do it with Luke's example now in these movie star ranches, and you can see there's 600 or 700 people within a mile radius, maybe less. Someone's going to buy the property.
Can I give a hint real quick right here too? If anybody really wants to, see the dupes in there. If you really want to spend the time, you can go and unclick the duplicates. If you want to save a little bit of money before you hit the download button.
Like this person, obviously, we could take them out. We could take them out.
If you want to spend the time, you can do that.
You're saving 10 cents every time you do this. So
yeah,
is it going to hurt them?
It's not a big deal, but yeah.
And so you download it. Now here's the kicker: is if you already sent the mailer out in the area anyway, you have the data anyway. How much does this cost? Like this mailer, this will cost you, I think, less than $80. So if you're talking about a house or a ranch that's worth $800,000, $900,000, $80, and then to shove it over to offers to owners and send out a mailer that says we're going to buy this property, or we thought about buying it. We know you own it, and maybe you could use one of the other columns in your mailer that says, we know your property is assessed at XYZ value. This seems like you may have purchased it more, or maybe you have completed sale data. Get real creative. And send them a letter and say, this property is a lot less than you paid. Maybe you're interested in purchasing it. I've never done this and failed. Not one time in my career where I just didn't get any interest or nothing happened or, So that
exactly
is what I mean about finding buyers.
Yep.
This is not a resource that we're going to set up for you in 3 months. You can log in there right now in your existing account and sell some property that you have right now. It's also a fantastic way for very little money relatively to send out a letter to somebody saying, even if you don't own a property, just to see what the buyer market's like.
Yeah.
This works especially well for houses. I cover all this in the new package that we're going to release with the houses. We didn't cover too much about selling houses or real estate in the last one, but this one will cover.
Yep, SFR. So, yep. Cool. All right. Back to the questions?
Yeah.
Back in. All right. Thank you very much, Jack. And Merritt said, thanks, Jack. Took your advice and scored one for $1,000, previously offered $5,000. That is in a flood zone.
This is one that I said. We talked on the call. I pulled a Jill. I'm like, he made a video. Go ahead.
Oh, my concern about the no access ones is that the county says no to building/development, cabin, house, trailer, etc. without legal access. Okay, we just have to do that first. Maybe folks would buy and start their own naked camping clubs. Did you guys talk about that too?
No.
Okay.
I wish we would have.
Or perhaps they'll just build without permission and I should grow bigger huevos. Well, that's hilarious. Once you sell it to them, though, it's kind of not your responsibility.
No.
So you don't need to worry.
Respectfully, you might be overthinking this.
Yeah.
I think that you should, you have to make a decision if you want to buy property that doesn't appear to have legal access. If you're going to be that kind of person, there's nothing wrong with that. We have done it for years and years and years and years. We just choose not to do it now.
And it's not like they can never get it. They just have to go through the steps to do it. And I'm not going to be the one to do it. Usually I'm going to pass it on and I'm going to tell them this is why it's priced so cheap.
Yeah, just like Jill said. Like everything too, there's people out there that love to buy property without legal access and then get legal access for it.
Exactly.
I bet if you put that in Craigslist and said, I got a piece of property in this area that doesn't have legal access, and this is why it's $3,000 instead of $30,000.
Right, because I'm not going to do it.
Someone's going to buy that property from you.
Exactly. Bingo. Well, that's interesting. I'd love to know this one. Carrie said she found one in Kimball County, Texas that had the wrong GPS. The shape was wrong.
Yeah, Curia, reach out to me. That's the first time I've heard that. So
yeah, because we'll go back to them, or I wonder if they assess. There could be something.
So whatever data you're checking it against, to know that it's incorrect.
Yes. How do we know?
My money might be on the fact that data is wrong. So
this
I don't.
Is true.
But please reach out to me individually via email, and I will look into that.
Totally. Okay, the county has a GIS, but that doesn't still make, what? I still don't know if I trust the county person over RealQuest.
If there's an error in the database,
we'll figure it.
CoreLogic's going to want to know about it too.
That's true. Whatever it is. So, okay. Let's see here. I have found errors in county data, period. Flat out.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that today.
Mm-hmm.
The data that's in there is only as good as what the assessor has uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
And the assessor, they eat a lot of cake sometimes.
Yeah, I really have. Like really, it's like little things like they put the decimal in the wrong spot or something. And I know because I'm staring. Yeah, if you go, I'm looking at the legal, kind of, and you work it backwards, the northeast half of the southeast half of the whatever, so you know what size the property is. If you guys haven't done that, good. No, I'm just kidding. But I think everybody here knows what that is, and so you can figure out the size of the property. And I'm like, okay, everyone, look at the legal description. Look at this. Something's not right. And so, yeah. Todd asks, I feel comfortable with the 2 counties I have been mailing, but after 3 mailings, I have sent to everyone that meets my search criteria at least once, some twice. Interesting. I have a decent idea of the values there. Spreading out feels harder to be confident with offers and value while making and entering new counties. How do I shorten the learning curve as I move into other counties?
I think that the learning curve is yours. I think if you're sending stuff out and people are buying it and responding to it well, you're doing deals. Mm-hmm. I think you're there.
Yeah. How do I shorten the learning curve? It's just, all I got to say is do it more. You know what I mean? The more you do it, the better you get, and you get more comfortable with the data and everything. So, all right. Albert asks, if the assessor and recorder does not have the acreage size, how do I find that information? How would they not have the acreage size?
No, that happens a lot.
Oh.
Albert, you're right. This is a problem, especially in extremely rural counties. So you need to have parcel fact. And, bear in mind that the square footage of a property, 1 acre is 43,000 square foot, 560.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that, and then if you go on the internet, there's a perpendicular way if you have the dimensions to find out what the area is. But you're not alone in this at all. I've struggled with it for years and years. It's a lot better now because there's tools out there. But imagine if without Google Earth or tools like ParcelFact to figure that out.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I've done this, Jack. I know you have. I've actually. I recall looking
Jill's
at.
Answer is, what are you talking about? That's not a problem, and here's why. Because I've been doing it for you for years and
probably.
years. Probably.
No, but you know what though? I remember a time seriously looking at lots. I remember looking at a lot. And for some reason, I was trying to look at the frontage and the size and figure out, because you know what? I think the acreage I was looking at didn't seem to match up to me what I thought the size of the property was. So I got a plat map. So, there's one way too, Albert. If you want to get a plat map, and the good plat maps have the frontage length, they have the width of the property, the length of the property, and you could do it yourself.
Yeah, plat map is really going to be helpful on that.
Yeah, I've done that. So that would be another way. All right, curious.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
Jill, 1 second.
Something? Okay.
So,
good.
Richard, this is the first property that you asked me to pull up. Would I buy this property?
Okay.
And the answer is I would be running to the bank on this property.
Wow.
I'm not going to pull up anything else and say anything else. In fact, you might want to consider living there.
That is 0202. It is. Yeah.
Here's the thing about Tiburon. I have done hundreds and hundreds of deals there, probably maybe 1,000, but several hundred at least. And I love Tiburon. I love going there. I love everything about it. It's in southeastern New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
I took a private plane there and did a bunch of aerial pictures once, and I didn't want to come back.
Okay, we look at the other one. Pull up this other one there. RO44988. Would you buy this?
if I had to find something negative about it, you just need to make sure that you don't need like a monster truck to get there during the winter. There's some places in Big Bear you can't get to, for example,
I didn't know.
because of the snow.
Heck yeah, I'd buy this.
Yeah, this one looks like the same thing.
Yeah. Totally would buy it.
Yeah. And there's structures over here.
Yeah. People figured that. Oh, yeah. Look at north of there.
I mean, it's on the hill.
Yeah.
It's right at a timber on.
Oh, dude, that's pretty. Is that cloud cover?
I think so, yeah.
Shucks, it's darker because there's
a structure right here.
Wow.
Right here.
You can just imagine what the view is. Yeah, do that. Oh, thank you, Jack.
The little man. He doesn't go there.
Oh, okay. That's so darn cool.
The little yellow man we all love. I had to call somebody and they were just, I mean, they're doing really well. And he and his wife were talking about the little yellow man.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty funny.
Yep. Got it.
It's just beautiful here. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
I love Tiburon.
Talk about, see, there's the cloud cover.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty.
You miss the clouds.
That's awesome.
Southern California.
Yeah, like, oh, look, there's clouds. How pretty. Curious said, I accidentally mailed the city of Medicine Bow a letter. The lady sent a very helpful email in reply. Oh my God. What? Offering to send me a list of property owners who would be willing. Not only that, she'll let me know when the city decides to sell theirs and instructions on how to submit bids. How cool is that?
Well, Kyria, I have to tell you something. Personally, I love when you schedule a call with me. And I always ask Jill if she's available to take it because it's fun to talk to you and your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's other people, like at the Medicine Bow employee here, it's the same situation. I'm sure of it. So don't change a thing.
That is awesome. Merritt asks, boring tax question, Captain Obvious puking. Spoke with a tax attorney / CPA regarding the best entities for flips versus terms deals. He said C Corps for quick flips to avoid dealer status, LLCs for terms deals to shield from owing all taxes up front, and absolutely don't mix the two deal types in the same entity. Does this approach square with what you guys know? Thanks.
I would heavily encourage you to get a second opinion on that. And respectfully, I'm just going to say that's the end of my answer. Okay? I'm serious.
Because you are not an attorney.
And I do not agree with that.
I'm not an attorney.
It has to do with ordinary income. All of us are in the ordinary income business here. We're not in the passive income business. And believe it or not, accountants don't know stuff sometimes.
God. What? Peters has a tip for infill lots. If Zillow prices are in the $12,000 zone, $3,000 to $5,000 offers, depending on how many offers you want to get back. Make $3,000 to $5,000 offers, depending on how many offers you want to get back.
Yeah, I would second. I mean, I'm glad you're looking at the Zillow prices, but it's not gospel. I would second that somewhere else, and not Trulia because it's the same company. And just to check somebody else's algorithm to see if it's true. So let's just say 12,000 is correct. At 3 to 5, I think that you're for infill lots at 3 to 5,000. If you send out 1,500 letters, these are infill lots in a relatively urban area. You should get a taker. 1 to 2 properties maybe per 1,500, but I'm going to say 1 for sure. I mean, so without knowing anything else, like certain areas, I can tell you if you do that in Arizona, you're going to get more. But if you do it further east, you may get 0 and maybe take 3,500. But in the end, it's all a small price to pay for the money you're making.
Yep.
In Florida, you're going to get more.
Cool.
For example.
Brian asks, I'm a little unclear as to some of the process with optioning properties. Okay. Mostly, how much are we to disclose to the seller, the other parties, about what we are doing? Is it advisable or necessary to use an attorney or title / escrow, or does that depend on the dollar amount? I'm in California.
I mean, what do you think, Jill? You and I differ on this. I think you should disclose everything. And Jill thinks I think, I don't want to take words out of your mouth. You should disclose what's needed.
Here's my take on this, Brian. I'm not going to lie. If someone asks me a question, I will answer the question. Will I voluntarily spill my guts about thank you so much for buying this for 12. I thought when I picked it up for 6, I didn't think anybody would want it. I'm not going to volunteer that kind of stuff. But I am super crystal clear, especially on the situation, that I have equitable title to this property when I have my option agreement, basically, that the guy signed something allowing me to go out and try to sell it. Super, super clear on how it's happening, how the transition is going to play out, my role in it. I am not a broker. I'm not an agent. It's kind of passing through me. And I swear, I don't know if it's me or
it's you.
Everyone. Oh,
it's you.
But for me,
it is.
I really try. I'm a fan of a less is more. I don't need to talk their ear off. I just explain the big picture to them. And if they do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer them. And then I just kind of move on. That's it, kind of thing. Do you want to add to that? Yeah.
To answer the last part of the question, do you go through title or just do it? I mean, Jill differs on this too. I've seen her do. Jill does some of her own deals, by the way. We have separate companies and stuff. And Jill will do it, on a handshake, and she'll transfer the money around and
like the car I bought.
Yeah, I would never. I personally would never do an option like this out of escrow. I just wouldn't. That's just how I am. I have done some transactions, Brian, that Jack was losing sleep over, and I didn't really know he was losing sleep over him until after the fact. And I'm like, that worked out just great. And he's like, oh, shoot, that could have gone so wrong. That's one of the reasons that we sometimes we do deals separately. and for me, seriously, I had no doubt, no questions in my mind whatsoever that it was going to go great. Jill has the luck of the Irish, even though she's in India. I have more. You know what? That's it. It is the luck of the Irish. Yeah. I did the 23andMe. Jack and I both did 23andMe, and I have way more Irish than anything, and I had no idea. I thought it was Dutch, and I have a lot more Irish. That is so... That would explain the middle of the night screams. Oh, yeah. Thanks to my grandma, I can argue like the best of them. Whiskey-induced night screaming. That's right. But you know what? Okay, let me say this too, Brian. You know what I would do? I would option. I wouldn't necessarily open title on it on some of these on all options deals. I don't necessarily open escrow because I'm not 100% sure I'm going to follow all the way through the transaction. So I will put it out there, and then when I do have a serious qualified buyer, then I'm going through the whole process and I'm starting it at that point. But I'm kind of ready for it. Does that answer that, Jack? Yeah. Right. So Luke is asking, where are you guys getting most of the leads from without paying land watch, etc.? Notice that last month YouTube took off for me, wondering if someday I can stop paying for all the advertising or at least get more accurate. This is Jack. That ties into this topic again. So here's the type of, we do two types of deals right now. We do deals where just the leftover mailers of literally millions of mail that we sent out. And it has to be a good deal. Then we do the Movie Star Ranch stuff all the time. And we buy houses in Arizona. We're soon to be in California, where we already have buyers. We just don't do any marketing, Luke. All right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say we don't do any marketing. We do this show. We do this Thursday call. We run a ton of Facebook ads for that kind of stuff. You guys probably don't see them for some reason. So, but we don't promote the actual property. I always thought about this. We don't say the X property is for sale. We just don't. We don't need to because it's all sold before we buy it. We're promoting Land Pin and the big thing. Exactly. That's really what we're doing. That's how I was going to end it. So and we don't even promote Land Academy, but we promote Land Investors, Land Pin. We haven't done it with Parcel Fact yet because there's a few quirks still. But so that just seems to attract people. People email us and say, "Please, I'm begging to buy an XYZ area," and we send a letter out that day and sell them property. So, I hope that I think, Luke, you're probably pretty close to that. I'm pretty excited. But you, I don't. If I tell me if I'm sharing too much. You and Aaron had a call even today. Aaron,
I think everybody here knows now. She's overseeing Landpin. That is Aaron's baby. And you and Jack and Aaron are going bananas.
Yeah.
With new things coming to attract more people,
marketing,
and stuff, and more traffic to Landpin. I'm pretty darn excited what you guys have coming up.
Yeah.
Without sharing too much, but it's good. So, and hopefully that's helpful.
It's common sense stuff. I mean, it's advertising on Google. I don't know, is it? You advertise on Facebook, you advertise on Google. It's not that easy to figure out.
Well, there's some interesting stuff that you guys are doing that's really good.
Yeah.
Not everybody thinks about.
My whole point was showing you the silly circle thing earlier is that the buyers are already there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Luke, I would argue you should do a little micro mailer a few times and see if you can sell a piece of property without paying Land and Farm and I think Luke's referring to the land and exorbitant fees that Land and Farm and Landwatch charge to be a signature.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we tried everything we could to get a group account so everybody had the same access, and it worked for a while, and they pulled the plug on us, literally.
Yep. So that's how Landpin came to be. For people who don't know,
if I sound bitter, it's because I am.
Jack keeps saying someday he's gonna that poor Landwatch guy's got something coming. Hasn't happened yet, but there's it's awesome. All right. Farron asks, bought a property in Otero with nice roads. Yes. Went to close and got stung with it. Oh, I can. Okay, can I add to this?
Yeah,
go ahead. I need another water lane. Ouch. Where would you go to find that data ahead of time in the future?
Well, you should run, since we have.
Oh, sit tight.
Since we have RealQuest up, I think if we still do.
I think.
I love when you make fun of me.
I'm just teasing.
Especially on the air.
Silly. I think.
If you go to custom in RealQuest Pro, you'll see this lien. There's a lien and something report.
Right. Was it lien 360?
Maybe it is. Yeah, lien 360 suite. And you'll see all the liens that are recorded against the property, voluntary and involuntary. And then I think does Untitled Pro 24/7 have a product like this too?
I think they do. And the new one that we're looking at.
And I know DataTree, which we'll release here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
DataTree's got DataTree is first. DataTree is exactly what an escrow agent uses to write a title policy when you walk in to buy or sell your house. That's the data they use, that exact same data, the title plant data and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
In rare cases, they have to order an outside title plant, which they use a company called Red Vision for, which they just acquired. You are about to have all of that access to all of that data, and we will provide extensively the training for it. So, I feel your pain on the Otero County Tiburon water lien thing. You got to call, if you buy any properties in Otero, in Tiburon specifically, there's an HOA there. They maintain the roads and stuff. They're super nice people. Please call them. Make sure there's no back of HOAs and no back any of this water lien business. And also and just put it in part of your due diligence list right after calling about the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Call the county for the taxes, call the HOA for that.
Mm-hmm.
And check the lien report. I don't think these lien reports are $25.
No, I don't think they're a couple dollars.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Andy asked, we're getting close here, so I'm going to get through these. Andy says, do these movie star ranches have homes and structures on them, or are they raw land?
Can I answer?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some math together, real simple math. So we all look at a house, right? And we say, oh my God, this is gorgeous. These countertops are gorgeous. Or this house sucks, the countertops suck. From an accounting standpoint, let's do the math together. A movie star ranch that's $2 million in Santa Barbara with an ocean view. And there's a structure on it. And the structure is 2,000 square feet. It costs about $100 to $150 to replace a structure. In general, that's how much it costs to build a house. It's why, I'm going to get email. The price per square foot varies widely, but let's just say it's $100 a foot. So it costs $200,000 to build or replace a property on a $2 to $4 to $8 million piece of property. Sometimes it gets that high. So the structure becomes insignificant. I'll tell you what the structure does in California. It makes a piece of property that's worth X taxed like a piece of property that it's worth Y plus $1 million. So I personally would rather have no structure on it. But we buy them both ways. And at that point, the property itself, the improvement to the property is insignificant, in my opinion. It's better to buy a piece of raw land, movie star ranch, than it is to buy a property that has a shack on it.
Yeah.
It's harder to sell.
Right.
I mean, it's harder to Jill's one of the people on this planet who can walk into a house and she sees through the wallpaper, through the walls, through the fixtures, and she immediately sees what's possible, way more than I thought I was good at it until I met her. There's a lot of people that just they'll take it's got the most beautiful view on the planet, but it's just a shack, and they walk away.
Exactly.
You know, they just want to move in that weekend.
Yeah, because they want it to be yellow and it's green, and they don't. It's paint. We can change this.
Right.
It's funny. You're right.
So when we go to do a mailer in a subdivided scenario that way, I send every single person a letter, every single one, even if it says the federal government owns it, because their mailers are so small.
Cool. Peter asks, how important is eBay now, and any tips? If I started a new selling account, is it vital to work on seller rank by selling other products first? I remember.
Go ahead, Joe.
I know people that try to do that. So here's the thing. I don't think that's crazy. However, if someone's going to look and go, well, all he was selling were Target gift cards at half price. You know, if I go look at your product, that's going to look a little weird to me. So I understand the building up the ranking, but I don't know. I'd almost would just start fresh and you know what I would do? I would start fresh and link everything to my business account, my business website, you know, who I really am. So, and just, you could even write a description. You know what? I've been selling properties successfully on everything but eBay. And here I mean, seriously, you know, and here I am now with a new eBay account. You want to check me out? Go here, 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 and here. You know, I'm serious. You think that's crazy?
No, I think I'm absolutely right. Yeah. I also think if you refer back to your website, you know, they won't let you put a link in there, but they refer back to it and say, check us out here. Yeah. That's a good way to do it too.
Exactly. Because otherwise that might send up a little bit of an alert to me of like, okay, he sold 800 Matchbox cars, big deal. I'm now we're doing property, so it doesn't really tie together, even though you have the ranking.
Yeah.
So I'm cool.
I'm going to tell the truth about eBay. I think it's over.
Yeah.
And eBay is just, you have a 50% flake rate.
It's true.
I don't know.
It's not what it used to.
I shouldn't say that, though, because sometimes people just kill it on there.
Sometimes they do. I guess the thing is, we used to used to be consistently awesome. Exactly. And now it's like fingers crossed that they're not going to come to me in 3 days and say their toddler bought 10 acres and oops.
At 2 a.m.
Right.
And they're 2 years old.
Exactly.
They wanted to buy some.
I've had those. I'm like, you're absolutely telling me seriously. They climbed out of the crib, got into your laptop, and bought 20 acres.
They must type pretty well.
Exactly. And so those are the stories. If they even come up at all, they usually go dark, and you have no recourse at all. So it's just kind of a weird environment. So okay, so here's what we used to do, and then we haven't been, but we used to use it, Peter, as only a marketing tool. I would put gorgeous properties on eBay, and all I want to do is drive them to my website.
That's it, Joe.
So, and it's
still good for that,
right? So I would do that. Put it up there with a buy it now price, and if somebody does check out, great, and just have that attitude. That's awesome. That's gravy. If they do, if not, I don't care. All I'm doing is I know I'm getting some traction and getting them on my website.
Please bear in mind that when you sell a piece of property on eBay, you have to use PayPal, and PayPal hates us. So. They hate us land people.
Well, they don't. You just can't use PayPal. You could do another form of payment. You check that you can't.
You can't use another credit card, can you?
You have to. You just say you're using other form of payment, and then you do it behind the scenes. So you just do it off eBay. Yeah, exactly. You do it off eBay, and then when the payment is received, you can go in on eBay and check payment received.
Right, okay.
You could, because the guy could mail you a check. eBay allows that, and that's cool. All right. Kyler asks, quick. We're gonna keep going. Is that?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm going to keep going. All right. Kyler asks, quick suggestion or question. On the managed... Oh, good. Oh, shucks. Aaron's not on this. On the managed listing page of LandPin, Is there a way to put a strike through or make the sold listings red? Just some way to differentiate them from the available ones. I have a lot of similar properties, and I have to click through and remember which ones are still available and which ones are sold.
Yeah,
Thanks.
there is, Kyler. Thank you. I will. I'll put this in a ticket system for our IT staff that manages that site. The answer is hell yes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's just, it's on the back end, so you can see that. Good idea. Albert says, I've been doing this for 7 months. Oh.
Listen to this. This is why we do this.
Thank you, Albert. I've been doing this for
never paid a dime for advertisement.
And sold over 30 properties. Bingo.
I could not agree more.
Bingo. There you go.
We just started spending $5 or $10 on Facebook just like 3 days ago. And the results are staggering. Mm-hmm. Up till now, we have never paid for advertising for property sales ever, knock on wood. But for land pen and some other stuff, we're going to crank it up. Good for you, man. That's great.
That's awesome. About to spend some good money on land pen. Peter asks, do the land sites like Zillow, Land and Farm, or Land Watch frown against putting owner finance on the image or in the ad?
Yeah, they do.
I think they do.
At Zillow, I think they'll rip it off.
Right. I bet the other two will too. I don't know.
They all have separate graphic text policies, and I know we launched LandPin with ours that was pretty stringent. And as time goes on, as it becomes more successful, we will loosen that up pretty dramatically. Mm-hmm. There's nothing stopping you, by the way LandPin is set up, and I did this intentionally, to knock yourself out in the second and third and fourth image. Mm-hmm. So you can say, because you can scroll through them real easy, just hovering. You can see that they populate. So on the second image, just say owner financing and stuff. Be bold about it. Mm-hmm. I even say in the package, put stuff on the thing.
You can do it in the title.
Yeah, but no, I get it. I mean, the picture says a million words, so they're right. Okay. He's right. Okay. Graphics, just words on the graphics better.
Okay, cool. All right. Brandon wants to know, where the heck does Albert sell his properties? All over. I think Albert does all the stuff that we talked about. So really good. And you're welcome, Brian. Brian said, I learned so much from these weekly meetings on your podcast. Thanks, and thanks
You're
again.
Welcome.
You are very welcome.
So do I, actually.
Yes.
I learned what's important, like stuff on the back of LandPin just now.
Mm-hmm. That's really, really true. We did it.
We did.
All right.
Be like Albert, today's title. We were going to retitle him, remember?
Oh, yeah. I sent Carrie a little happy face. So, yeah. So we were going to do that last week. We were like, in the beginning of our calls a couple years ago, we used to always have something crazy would happen, and we'd circle back around at the end and title the call based on something funny. So we have one submission, which is Be Like Albert, which is really, really great. And I think Kyria, you kind of already are on that path. Thank you.
Yeah, I think so too.
You and Rowdy, I think you're doing just great. So anybody else want to title it? Give us a funny title, or any last quick questions before we sign off for the week? Jack, what do you got going on?
We are jam-packed with IT releasing. I mean, we're in the final stages of 4 websites. And it's going to be cool. We have a really, really good September.
Awesome. Can I share something cool that I did today?
Heck yes.
I got with my Jill Pay guy. I got with the
back end of Jill Pay.
Uh-huh. I have the momentum going. We have, Jack and I
site's done.
Have the team in place. The site is ready. We've got the tech guy standing around going, all right, I need to put the pieces together. So I got the ball rolling for that. So what do you think? Is that like a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day,
yeah,
60?
It'll happen this year.
Okay. All right. But I finally was able to get the right people and say, we're ready. Let's do this now. And so I got a guy on vacations calling me back, like he's from the family trip, like he's going out to the car and calling me.
We have to write an API, and most of it's done, but that's really, everything else is done.
Yeah.
So we have to write. So think about how the Stripe API connects to a website. Mm-hmm. We have to write that. So it's not that complicated, but that's really the end piece.
Exactly. So that's really good.
They have said in writing, we would love for you guys to use this to collect money for land sales.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anybody do that before, so that's good.
Yep. And offers to owners is super, super, super close. I think we're like, what do we say?
Days.
Yeah, week and a half away. I'm going to say, watch your email, watch for information about that coming when we flip that switch. And we will take the mystery of mail merge away so you don't have to think about that.
Yep.
So it's going to be awesome.
Thanks, everyone. We will be here the same time next week.
Yep. Have a good week.
Acquisitions.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.